It doesn't mean on this day, this is what you're getting. The news is coming because look, Mercury. Alrighty, lighting, camera, action. Is shit working? We'll find out. What's up, everybody? We have another new moon coming. And for those of you who have been waiting to hear about news in terms of work and a job, it could be coworker issues, could be next door neighbor issues. The new moon promises some sort of a new routine and even possibly new work. So we're going to look at the chart. We're going to look at the degrees. We're going to look at the sign that it's in. And I would advise for you to have your chart in your hand as we're going through this together. So if you don't have your chart and you need it, just make sure you comment to me below so I can get your chart to you. The benefit of getting a chart from me, number one, it's going to be accurate. And I say that very confidently because depending upon where you were born in the world, I have been on websites and 99% of them were inaccurate for certain charts, which is scary. So that's the number one perk. The number two perk is your chart, the design, the style will match the chart that I have on the screen, the chart that I look at. And that's kind of helpful, especially if you're new and you're just like, damn, I'm trying to make sense of this mess. And I do look at a lot of things on charts, so it can get confusing really fast. So again, comment, let me know what you want. Let me know if you need your basic chart and I'll get that to you. So what are we doing? A new moon. A new moon. Now, I want to say something before I throw the chart up because I'm going to go over some keywords. We're going to go over some of the basic energies of this so that you have this already in your brain once I start pointing out degrees and symbols. That way you have a well-rounded understanding of what these things mean as I'm pointing to them. And I will try to fold all that in, but there's a lot to look at, and sometimes I do a great job at it, and sometimes I could absolutely do a better job. So we're having a new moon in the sign of Virgo. Yeah, work, jobs, details, projects, tasks, routines. I'm like the troubleshooter of the zodiac, Virgo energy. I see the details and I know how to see all the details and connect those dots to make the best next correct step, or to put something together, right? Or to literally fix something, but to see my path forward, to logically, like in a really down-to-earth, practical, logical way. Not real flashy, not real, because it's Virgo. It's like orderly stuff, right? It's like it has to make sense, right? I'm not going to go get a job I don't know, selling automobiles when I do astrology videos. Like, it doesn't really make sense, right? No. So it's more like we can see those logical next steps. And this point, the degree that it's at, is really fascinating because Mercury, as you all well know, and if you don't, here we go. Mercury has been retrograding through Virgo. Virgo's ruler is Mercury. So there's been changes. Some folks got a job and it was like not what they thought it was going to be. Some folks got a job, but then all of a sudden they didn't have that job. You know, there was like either a delay or something got switched up. You know, so there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of I kind of want to say cloudiness and ambiguity, right? Possibly changing of minds, possibly changing of path, possibly things being confusing. Mercury in Virgo, but it's at the opposite of Pisces because Virgo and Pisces are opposite ends. And this is why it's really easy sometimes, depending upon what else is going on up in the sky, to get information mixed up. Okay, to especially if we, you know, there's a lot of things up in the sky that are moving around, and they could be angling things in your chart to make things a little bit more challenging. Like the North and the South node are moving around, right? And we know the North and the South node are in Libra and Aries energy. And so that's cardinal energy, but it squares home and work. It squares Cancer and Capricorn. Yeah, it creates like this big cross. So the moon's nodes are squaring that. And so it can be complicated, especially if we're looking to make our home life better, or maybe a change at home. Maybe we're thinking of moving. Oh my God, lots of people have been talking about that. Plans for a move or plans for travel. Mercury, I travel. Mercury, I talk, I think, I plan. I'm consuming information. I'm learning because I want to make a good decision, or I'm writing a book, even the scribe, Mercury. As a ruler of Virgo energy, it's really good at seeing like, okay, that could be better. Like, okay, I see what you did here, but because it's got such great vision in terms of seeing something like that we wouldn't see in Pisces. Pisces is a little bit kind of dreamy and like, oh, okay, that'll work. Sure, we can make that happen. But Virgo is just like, oh, hell no. The T wasn't crossed, the I was not dotted. Button that shirt up, tuck your shirt in type of thing. Virgo's like, there's a proper place and a time and a schedule. Virgo, organizing. Virgo, down to earth, practical way. Maybe stuff that's not so fancy, mundane type of things. People serve with their Virgo energy by taking care of the little things that some people get bored with or feel like, oh, it's not important. Housekeeping, taking care of pets, cleanliness in general, right? Hygiene, a lot of Virgo stuff. And so our pets and our health, our gut, our own health. How did it feel when y'all had Mars at 29 degrees of Virgo? I think I had a little short that I had put up about it because Mars being in Virgo, Mars inflames things. Virgo, the gut and digestion, at that critical degree, energy is just, well, it's more intense. So there might have been a slight moment where it was like, oh, what the hell? Did I eat something wrong? Like, was there something bad? So Virgo energy and doing the mundane, day-to-day, routine, might seem kind of boring kind of stuff. Go into the JOB. And what do you do when you go to the JOB? Like, is there a certain set of tasks that you perform, right? Like, it's the regular routine. You go in. Do you have to clock in? Maybe you don't have one of those kind of jobs where you clock in. But maybe there are other things you have to do where you check in. Right. And what else do you do then? Then every day I have to go and do this first. Then I go and do that first. Like, so those are your tasks. It's like a set calendar type of thing. Virgo is also like healthcare. I know, as an example, in my mom's world, oh my gosh, lots of stuff changed when Mars entered Virgo. Healthcare workers all of a sudden gone. Like, she went through 2 healthcare workers, actually 3 technically. And so just a lot of stuff switched up, So these could be people who are like nurses, people who help others. And that could even be like lawn maintenance, somebody who helps out around the home, whatever way that is. Okay. So there's probably a whole lot of other things for Virgo that I'm not mentioning. Please feel free let your knowledge shine, share it, put it in the comments, add in some other Virgo things that I might not have included because there's a plethora of other ways, right? Virgo and perfection and details and Mercury. And yeah, there's just a lot of different things that we can think of how Virgo, how that energy shows up, how it looks and how we can identify it, right? Because it's one thing to look at a chart, but it's another to see Virgo energy in action. Like, I had lived with 2 very prominent Virgo energy people. One is a double Virgo, matter of fact. And so it's really easy to see some of the Virgo qualities, right? So and for me to be able to talk about Virgo, I can see it. The one is very like, there's a, it's almost funny. If something's not in a certain position in the kitchen, you will hear her say immediately to the hubby, where is this? Why is it in where it belongs? Right. And he's notorious, even though he's a Virgo, he's not a double Virgo, but he is notorious because he's got some, I think, mostly Sag in his fourth house, I want to say, or a lot of Sag in his fourth. So he's notorious for kind of, I can see where he wants that freedom. So for him, it's not that he purposely doesn't want to have it in his own, where it belongs, but either he, like, the details of that kind of escape him, right, of where it's supposed to be. He really kind of relates more to when I'm at home, it's more of a relaxed, and I should be free, a free spirit, so to speak. And so if you're telling me this has to be here, yeah, I don't get to have as much freedom then, And so in that little way, whether he's aware of it or not, and I could, maybe that's not it at all, but that's how I see it, where it's like, oh, for him, it feels like, he's at work then, right? And nobody wants to feel like they're at work when they're at home. A new moon is when the sun and the moon are together, like they pair up, right? A full moon is what they're on the opposite ends, but the new moon is when they come and they meet and they're together. And a moon is feminine energy, and it's feelings and emotions, and it's family, and the moon can be even your physical home. The sun is masculine energy. So normally when masculine and feminine energy get together, right, you can create something. So it's known as a time of setting intentions, it's a time of really have a clear thought and idea of what it is you want for your future, and utilize the power and the energy of the new moons to be an active creator of your life. Right. Okay. So that's why we pay close attention to new moons. The Farmer's Almanac will tell you to plant seeds on a new moon, not on a full moon. There's a reason for that. They know that on a new moon, that is the start of something. The energy supports growth, but not on a full moon, because a full moon is a release of energy. It's a closure. It's an ending. Well, you don't want to plant seeds on a cycle that's ending, right? You see? Exactly. So let's just get a chart up so we can take a quick look at this. And there is your September new moon. Oh, vibrant green. September 14th. That's the day. Now, depending upon where you live in the world, this is at 8:40, technically 8:30, 8:42 p.m. Central Daylight Time, where I live. Time zone, I am in the Central Time Zone, so adjust for the time zone that you live in. Okay. And the reason is because on new moons, I'm just going to add this piece in here. I know I've said it 1,000 times before, but the hours of power before a new moon are considered to be the 8 hours before the new moon time. The 8 hours before are the most potent time before the new moon. That's the teaching anyway. Okay. So write some things down. Write down, this is what I want going forward. Get a list. Some say maybe 10 items. Just, so, and these things should be relatable to the new moon. And that would be in Virgo energy. And there it is. There is the star of the show. I should say the stars of the show. The luminaries, the sun and the moon together at Virgo. And look at the degree. Do you see that? It's at 21:58. See the minutes? So this is a 22 degree. We rounded up, right? It's definitely over 21:30. It's 21:58. So we're saying this is a 22 degree. Boy, this number 22 is so big in the month of September. I am just going to say it right here, right now. The month of September is a fated month. I've looked at multiple charts already for this month. And VERTEX is a big deal this whole month. Fated energy, relationships, partnerships, events, people, things happening, things beginning, things ending. It's a big month for that. Anybody know what's interesting about the 22 degrees of Virgo? That's right, Mercury. Mercury has been retrograding. It performed a retrograde between the degrees. And look, see how it's in red? It's still retrograding. But because we've been watching Mercury, we know that it goes back to 8 degrees and then it stops retrograding. And here it is at 8:03. So it's going really slow because it's about to stand still. So Mercury slows down because it's going to it's going to stand still right here. Yeah. And it's retrograde zone, meaning where it began its retrograde, which was here at 22 degrees. Yeah. So Mercury has already been through this area. Yes. Mercury was once here at 8 and then went forward all the way to 22. It stopped. It stopped and then went back to 8, which you see is where it's at here. It's going to stand still and then it's going to travel forward again to 22. And look, we have a freaking new moon there. So there is a new beginning that's happening. But wait, there is definitely more. We are not out of the clear yet. Remember, we never make a major decision until that Mercury gets back and clears the 22 degrees. Okay. Now, I know I've already done videos explaining when that time is, and that time is the end of September. That happens at the end of this month. So we're halfway through the month of September at this point. We're at September 14th. So once we get to September 30th, that is when Mercury gets to 22 degrees. And once it gets to that degree, that will be a time where you can honestly, logically say, okay, this is what G was talking about. I got all the information. And now we can move forward. I can make a decision. Am I staying at this job? Am I leaving this job? Was I missing a piece of information before I had to make a major decision? Some folks, job changes, home changes, right? Maybe partnership changes. But Virgo, again, the day-to-day routines, domestic. Virgo is about my domestic life, right? So now what's interesting about this new beginning is all the things in Virgo I talked about for a new moon. 22 degrees. Again, 22 degrees comes up. Why? Look at Uranus in Taurus. It's retrograding. What do you see? It's at 22:57. You see that? But look what's sitting next to it. At the hour of this new moon, VERTEX is conjunct Uranus. We have VERTEX, fated energy. This is where the word fate comes in with VERTEX. This is an event, a person. It can be something where it's kind of like already written in the stars. It was meant to be. Again, this can be a beginning or this can be an ending of something. It could be a combination. The beautiful thing about the new moon is Taurus is earth energy. So if Taurus is earth energy, you see Taurus right there? That symbol? That's earth. And if Taurus is earth, what do you think Virgo is? Virgo is also earth. So this tells me that this new moon trines VERTEX and trines Uranus. This is a strong trine. Now, I want you to look at your chart. What do you have in Capricorn at 22? And it could be 20, 21, 22, maybe even 19, right? Because this brings in, if you have that, it brings in a grand earth trine. Now, I got something in Taurus at 22, where Uranus is going to be and where VERTEX will be. I do not have anything in Virgo at 22. So that's important, right? It becomes a bigger deal if you have something in your natal chart at these degrees in each of the signs. Can something still occur even though you don't? Yes, something can still occur. Like for myself, as an example, I have something in Taurus at 22. Well, surely with VERTEX and Uranus there, I should probably expect, I don't know, maybe I change up something in my health that day. You know, maybe it's not anything huge, okay? Because I don't have anything natally at 22. You follow? But there will be a new moon there. So something about my routine might change. And it might be something that possibly I initiate, There's a sense of independence with Uranus energy, but there's also like this fated thing involved in it. So maybe it's new work for me, maybe even a new client of some sort. Online digital is Uranus energy, and that's where all my stuff is, online and digital. Whether it's a one-on-one consultation or whether it's a new video on YouTube, whatever the heck that could be. But what about Capricorn? For those of you that have something over here, which by the way, I do not, but if you have something here, 19, 20, 21, 22, look at that. That would be powerful, wouldn't it? Yes, because you would truly have that powerful, grand earth trine. And earth energy is stable. It is stable. It's about my values, my money. Capricorn is about long-term financial stability. You see? So this can create the opportunity for work, for a job, for a career for many of you. But remember now, set your intentions. Set those intentions, because it doesn't mean on this day, this is what you're getting, the news is coming, because look, Mercury is still at that 8 degrees point. We are waiting for her to go from 8 degrees back to here. That's going to take to the end of the month. At that time, considering there is a new moon at this point, for some of you, it can absolutely be go time. You follow? It makes sense. It's starting to make sense now. For the past few months, all summer long, people have been asking. It was like, oh my God, it's delay. It's delay. We're still waiting. It's still more of the same damn thing. Things are up in the air, right? So that takes us then to Mars. I know I have a video about Mars already. I hope you already saw it. When Mars and the South Node meet up. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it below. I'm not sure when I'm putting that video up. But if it's out, I'll link it below this. You see Mars in Libra. Mars takes action. Libra is partnerships, business partnerships, and significant one-on-one relationships. So for many of you, there could be a beginning in relationships, business or personal. Just remember, we got to wait until the end of this month to find out what exactly is going on, and not to forget to make sure you watch the Mars conjunct the South Node in Libra energy, because the South Node, what it does is the South Node's job is to release the past. So this month should be a promising time, at least where we can say things are stabilizing. Things are starting to move. We shouldn't feel like we're stuck in a rut anymore. We may definitely feel like we now have some things seem more definite. So we have the facts in front of us, at least more facts than we had before, and we can make a better decision. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And then if you got questions, just put them down there as well. And we can create a part 2 so that we can kind of make a more personalized video for your new moon in Virgo energy. There's a lot to keep talking about. All right, guys, you have a good one. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.